All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to Apostle and Elders in New York, GMS. And salutations to Yakim that's putting your lives on the line for the truth. My name is Maya Ka'ala Bangad. With the Chicago branch of Great Millstone, I can make a disclaimer that we're not black Hebrew Israelites. We are Israelites. The Israelites are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and speckled birds that scatter abroad. All right, speckled birds are Israelites who look like other nations, but their father's paternal bloodline go back to the 12 tribes of Israel. All right, and the reason I got this, man, this picture up here, man, all right, because basically of the Nick Canyon controversy. All right, because Esau, the gig is up. Okay, you're not the original Israelites that the Bible speaks of. Okay, and the term Israeli means modern day citizen of the state of Israel. All right, and Jewish means something like a Jew, not exactly a Jew. All right. You got the suffix ish. Okay. Now the word Jew means one who for the tribe of Judah, one who for the southern kingdom Judah. And the word Israelite means one who descend from Jacob or connected to Jacob. So that's the big difference. All right. And this truth been going out since 1969. And the light been turned on you, Esau. All right. Because you're a burglar, man. You're a burglar. And this is what it is. The light represents the truth and knowledge of Yahweh Shai. And he shined the light on you. And you being exposed. All right. Let's see. And now you're angry and stuff. Because Nick Canyon had an interview with a professor. They bring the truth out. It says, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, but put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. All right. That put darkness for light and light for darkness. All right. So Esau putting his truth as darkness. The truth that the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are the 12 tribes of Israel. When his own scholars, which I'm going to bring out, his own scholars and the rest of the scholars, some of my scholars have brought the truth out that the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, in this situation, we're talking about the so-called Negroes, the tribe of Judah. All right, that they are not Hamites, Africans, and that is a historically and biblical fact. All right, your little anti-Semitic had a nice little 201 years run. And the trip, the ride is over with, man. Because everybody began to wake up to the truth about who the true Israelites, man, are, man. Even your own people are getting tired of you lying. All right, it says what Psalms. Let's see, Psalms 85 and 11. It says Psalms 85:11, truth shall spring out of earth and righteousness shall look down from heaven. All right, so truth is springing out of earth, man. That the Israelites are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. But see, when Professor Griffin, Nick Canyon brought that out, it's hate speech. And that's what it means in Isaiah chapter 5:20. They put light for darkness. And even your own scholars, your own people say they not the That you are not the original Israelites, the Jews that the Bible speaks of. But you want to get mad and stuff. And you in line of scriptures, you don't fit the prophecy. It's just dumb and stupid. How you gonna call the so-called Negroes or so-called African Americans anti-Semitic when they cold-heartedly believe in the Bible? They believe the one everybody ethnic called Jesus Yahweh. They believe in him. They love Paul. Most under the Baptist domination was named after John the Baptist, another Israelite. Both men, these men of and all the people in the Bible, they love Samson and Samson and Jael, Deborah, Ezekiel. And the Matthew, all these people, those are Israelites, man. These the people that the so-called Negroes love to hear about, man. And the Bible is about the nation of Israel history, the history in the past, the prophecies that's gonna happen in the future, and the mystery sayings, man, that these Israelite prophets who are Shemitic descendant of Shem have wrote and is coming true today, man. So-called Negroes name their children after these people of Shemitic descent. Nicholas. Nicholas was an Israelite, and he was seeking knowledge from Yahweh, the one by even called Jesus. His wife, his ex-wife has a Mariah, man. That's a Hebrew name. That's an Israelite name. But you gonna label this man, anybody that speak the truth, anti-Semitic? It's just dumb and stupid. Let me get this, man. It's on the Bad Compact Bible Dictionary. Let's get this. Your own scholar said, what's this, 213? The definition of Ham. It said Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood and one of the 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, the Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. It says not the Negroes. How could so-called African Americans be anti-Semitic? It's dumb and stupid, man. All right, this is the book of Michael A. Gomez, Black Crescent, Legacy of African Muslims. All right, but we know those were Israelites that converted to Islam. I'm gonna just read some history, man. All right, let me see, y'all. This is I'm gonna start page 13. I'm gonna read other. It said the last thing the Spanish wanted. All right. Get this. I hope you guys can see it. It says right here, the last thing the Spanish wanted was for the New World to evolve into another theater of war with their protracted and costly struggle with Islam. All right. Hope you guys can see. It says 1501 decree therefore banned Jews, Moors, heretics, and new Christians from entering the Americas. All right, so they bring Israelites to the America. The Jews and Moors are the same people. Moors are number of Israelites that was following the doctrine of Islam. All right, it says right here, it's evidence that contraband Africans, so we know they weren't Africans, will continue to arrive to be found in Fernandez 1506. Order to D'Orvado concerning the expulsion of Berber slaves. All right, was basically these number Shemitic people, man. Reiterating that he allowed to enter the island neither a rebellious slave nor one raised, all right, with Moriscos. All right, so there you go right there, man. All right, it says, let's go right here. The island Hispaniola was split into Haiti and Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. All right, it says, and hope you guys can see this announced. See, every time I get on Satan, he mess up my phone and stuff. All right, it says, in putting down the 1522 Santo Domingo revolt, authorities concluded that it had been waged by a combination of Muslim-influenced jalops and disgruntled Latinos. All right, Spanish-speaking Israelites. It said, and they reissued decrees in 1530 and 1532 to ban the importations of enslaved Moors, Jews, whites, and Latinos into the New World. Only African Bozeas were not Jalafa were to be accepted. But all these people were Israelites, man. All right, all these people was Israelite heritage. All right, look at this. 1530 royal decree of Charles V banning the Berber slaves of the caste of the Moors, Jews, and mulattoes from entering the Americas. Was therefore is issue a response to events both Hispaniola and Puerto Rico. All right. So how could so-called Negroes be anti-Semitic, man? All right, so-called Negroes and West Indians and Haitians. All right, that's just a dumb, a dumb doctrine. All right, this right here says what type of? It said the Fula often ventured into the country confused by slave traders with the Mandingos. All right. They formed a completely different group originally. All right, so it wasn't Caucasoid, all right, because the Fula had sharp feet. The Fula frequently appear in the slave manifest of the slave ships, but almost always a different destination. It's a Guaya Beltran last statement is applicable to whole America, had not just Mexico, but he makes clear in the next sentence in Haiti, for example, there are well-known names. Pew, Pule, Pular. In Brazil, they are called Fulani, Fulanians, Fubes, and Fulas. All right. So there you go, man. All right. Let's see what scholars say about the Fulani people. Fula. All right. Because they hit me in the name. Basically, the Fulani people. All right. Because that's what Fula is. It says right here, a page. And this is book. By J. Roger, 100 Amazing Facts About the Negro. A complete proof. That's J. Rogers right there. So-called Jamaican Chap Benjamin. All right, Jamaica got large. It's well documented that the so-called Jamaicans have Sephardic Jew ancestry. It's well documented, man. So what is mess coming from that? So-called Negroes, could they include in that group? So-called Negroes are anti-Semitic, man. It's just dumb and outdated, man. All right, it says right here. It says right here. It says the Pews or Negro Jews of West Africa has so-called Semitic profiles. All right. It's saying France and Spain, Portugal, there are Negro Jews with woolly hair. The Portuguese Jews who are the aristocrats of Jewry show considerable Negroid strain. All right. But just show you, man, that when the Fulanis, that Solani group that came over here, slaves, are Israelites, thus said the scholars, man. Thus said Yahweh Shem Bashar, because he the one controlling these scholars. All right. All right, so done with that, man. All right, so we are. All right, so let's begin it, because like in starting with the late 14th century, and then going to the late 15th century, going to the 16th century, they was bringing Israelites from Spain, Portugal. All right, Spain and Portugal, man. And those with the Moors and the Moors and the Morano Jews, both the same people, man. All right. So you don't want to believe, go one of your own people. The book, the English, the Moor, and the Holy City, the true adventure of Elizabeth Traveler. All right, Joanne Taylor. Right here, page 20. I'm sorry, page 36. It said Morocco was angry at Spain not only because the Spanish had seized Moorish lands in Andalusia, that's in Spain, dealt upon with Muslims, but because the Spanish will continue capturing Muslims to serve as slaves in the Spanish colonies in the Americas. All right, this is your own people. All right, so we don't lie, we don't make stuff up. All right, we just bring the truth out, man. All right, and the Moors what a Shemitic descent. All right, you go right here, another book. Slavery in America: Eyewitness History by Dorothy Snyder and Carl J. Snyder. All right. So you can see this. Hold my camera working right. This in chapter 9, the enslavement of the Gadites, the so-called Native Americans, and James Adair noted all the Israelite customs, and many scholars say they are Shemitic descent. And what group claimed Cherokee all the time, man? The so-called Negroes. And scholars say that the Cherokee are of Shemitic descent. They one of the 12 tribes of Israel, particularly Gad. All right. So all this anti-Semitic, man, just that doctrine had a nice little run. It's over with, man. All right. This is the letter. I'm gonna read it right here. What they talking about. It said, as Emmanuel Daniel argued in 1645, letter to John Wimthorpe, a war with the Narragansett is very considerable to this plantation, for I doubt whether be not sin in us, having power in our hands to suffer down to mandate the worship of the devils that making up lies. All right, lying about the tribe of Gad, devil with the paw or powwow salak often do. If upon a just war the Lord should deliver them into our hands, we might be easily have men, women, and children enough to change for Moors. All right, and to see that hype, right? But originally the letter said Moors will gainfully pillage for us that we conceive, for I do not see how can they thrive until we get a stock of slaves sufficient to do all our business. For our children's children will hardly see the great continent filled with people, so that our servants will still desire freedom to plant for themselves. All right, so they was trading Gadites for Judites, Moors. The Moors are of Shemitic descent. All right, so this is just stupid, man. All right, and the descendants of Shem is what? Is Jacob, nation of Israel, Ishmael, so-called Arabs. All right, and just bring this fact out that Israel is what? The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American speckled birds scattered abroad. All right. So you got Jacob, Israel. All right. You got Ishmael, the so-called Arabs. You got, the nation of Edom, you so-called Caucasian, so-called white people. All right. You are Jewish people. Okay. You come from Amalek, your own people in Canada brought that out. All right. And then you got what? Elam. They're another descendant of Shem. Oh, the Assyrians, they're Shamites. And and you've been discriminating them all throughout Europe. The Syrian, because the Syrians they descended from the Syrian. You've been discriminating against. Oh, those Syrian refugees, a lot of them from the tribe of Ephraim. Though a lot of them are Israelites. Talking about anti-Semitic. Where the word Sam come from? Shem. All right. So all those groups the so-called Chinese, they leaders said they are from the nation of Moab. So-called Japanese are Amun. Right now, man, so you got Judah, so-called Negroes getting some Chinese food. What you want to call people anti-Shemitic? They getting what? Goat curry, eating East Indian restaurant, Elam food. Even in the over Jamaica, the tribe of Benjamin, the so-called West Indians, they love curry dishes, man, and they known for goat curry and curry chicken. All right, so the anti-Semitic is just it's unscientific to use against the so-called Negroes of the Americas. It don't fit them. Oh yeah, the so-called Negroes love kung fu films starring Moabites, so-called Chinese. So I don't get what this anti-Semitic stuff come from anyway. All right, it says this is the book Servants of Allah, African Muslim Slave in America. All right, so we know these not Muslims. All right, and it's in the prophecy in Deuteronomy 31 that our people will turn to other false doctrines, idols. Read that Deuteronomy 28 and 64. All right. By let's see, this author Sylvian A. Dioff. All right. Now we'll see what they talking about the Israelites that was into the Islam religion. It says right here, the Africans, like, so we know they not Africans. These are the Israelites who could choose their new names. Sometimes did so in a way that let them keep a link with their past. Job and Solomon in one of these interesting examples of African retention, right? Israelite retention. In the name and practice, he was called Simon by his master, but was known as Job ben Solomon, which was the English translation of his Senegalese Muslim name Ayuba Job Suleiman. Solomon is similar way a Muslim enslaved with Ibrahima Abid al-Rahman gave the name Suleiman, all right, to his sons. The boys was called Solomon. It is very likely that many named Moses in French, Solomon, Abraham, Jacob, Adam, David were formerly Musa, Suleiman, Ibrahima, Ayuba, Adama. That's a logical dodge word. Adama and Dadwa, which is Dawad, David. All right. It said Omar Abin Saeed. Omar is another Israelite name. All right. This is page 82 of Servants of Allah by Sylvian A. Dioff. So how could the so-called Negroes be? How can they be anti-Semitic? They got a history of dealing. They are a Shemitic stock. They are the Israelite, the Bible speaker, and they dealt with other Shemitic culture, such with the Islamic culture, man, and they kept their Israelite names, but it was in another dialect of Hebrew, which is Arabic. It was the Ishmael, Ishmael dialect, all right, of Hebrew. All right. I mean, this is just look at the other names, man. Byron, Abraham, Esau. We say Jesus number the Greek is Esau is a Greek way saying what does it say? They said in watered down way is Yahushua, but they said in the corrupt way, watered down way, Yeshua. All right. So Greek and Arabic way of saying it. Musa, Moses. All right. Solomon, Solomon. Other biblical Quranic names including Yahya, John, the Baptist, which is Yachanan, Gabriel, Ayuba, Job, Marima, Mary, Hawa, Eve, and Adama, which is Adam. All right, this is Benjamin, tribe of Benjamin in the Caribbean islands, man. All right, so it just like, come on, man. All right, just let me see. I'm trying to find something else. Ain't no way this so-called Negro could be anti-Semitic, man. They Shemitic themselves, man. And all your scholars proved it. So right here, let's see what the ancestors knew before they came over here. This is page 112, dealing with literacy. It says reading Bible could also present a real intellectual and religious interest to Muslims and a true comfort, for it enabled them to go back to a spiritual world they had devoted many years of their free lives to study. They all knew characters and stories of the holy books, since the Quran speaks abundantly of the Old and New Testament. In addition, some had already read and studied Christian texts in Africa. So people already knew about the Bible, man, to you scoffers, man. All right. In addition, some had already read and studied Christian texts in Africa, as confirmed by Mungo Park for Senegambia, where he had seen manuscripts of an Arabic version of Pentecostal Moses, which they call Taruta La Musa. This is highly esteemed, that is often sold for a value of one prime slave. They likewise a version of Psalms of David, Zabra Dawidi. Lastly, the book of Isaiah, which they call Legili La Isa, is rather the New Testament of Jesus. We're talking about Yahushua. It is in very high esteem. Ibrahim Abdul al-Rahman had read some of these books prior to his departure from Guinea. All right. And all right. It said, as he confided to his friend Andrew Marshall, who asked Secretary of State Henry Clay to procure a New Testament in Arabic for the prince. All right. So it's very impossible for the so-called Negroes to be anti-Semitic. All right. It's just stupid, man. This is the book right here. What? Igbo Israel. Comparison of Igbo and ancient Israel culture. Isn't one of the tribes that came over enslaved was the Igbo? This right here, man. This is page 2. It says what? The Nigerian Igbo Jewish claim was boasted several years ago in discovery in the area of an Aunt stone reportedly bearing the name Gad in ancient Hebrew. All right. In addition, the Igbo B'nai Yisrael, as they sometimes call themselves, have traditions bearing some resemblance to Judaism. Among them, are the circumcision of newborn males on the 8th day, the separation of women during menstrual cycles, the mourning period resembling Shiva, and prohibition of eating meat of animal that was not blessed. This is also the blowing of the ram's horn, akin to the blowing of the shofar. All right. This is Mark Pillman, Hearts Israel, Daily News, Tel Aviv, Israel, October 6, 2008. All right. So this is, let me see if I can find something else. Oh. Let me see. It says right here, the skeptics into this nebula rise because the Star of David was evacuated in Agud Ari in northern Igbo land and had emerged in independent sign for the contemporary Eastern influence. It leads the biblical exile narrative 722 BC a credible right, because majority of the Northern Kingdom, they came over here to America, but there was a few left behind, man, and they dwelled among Judah. All right. So this thing, man, with the so-called Negroes, so-called African Americans being anti-Semitic is just dumb. It's just straight up dumb, man. It is impossible for so-called African American who come from the tribe of Judah to be anti-Semitic. So, shalom.